Chosen one, do not scroll away. This is not the algorithm. This is a divine interception, and it is an absolute emergency. I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now. Listen to my voice very carefully. The enemy is setting a massive trap for you, and if you do not pay close attention, you are going to walk right into it without even realizing it. The heavy attacks you have been facing recently are not random. The sudden financial blocks are not bad luck. The extreme exhaustion you feel in your bones is completely intentional. They are trying to drain you. They want you to think you did something wrong, but you have done absolutely nothing to deserve the heavy burdens you have been carrying for so long. Take one slow breath. I know you feel that strange tightness in your chest. I know you wake up at 3 in the morning with your mind racing. You sit in the dark, feeling completely isolated. You wonder why the universe gave you such a big heart, only to let people use it, while your own prayers seem to hit the ceiling and bounce back down to you. Stop letting the world convince you that you are just stressed. That is your spirit detecting the setup. You did not click this message by accident. Your intuition dragged you here because heaven is issuing a final warning. The people who profit from your pain are terrified because you are finally waking up to the harsh truth that they tried to hide from you. The setup was designed to make you question your own sanity. They always described you as too sensitive. They told you to lower your expectations. They manipulated your kindness and turned your empathy into a weapon against you. They severely underestimated the strength you hold inside. They thought betrayal would break you, but instead it activated a primal power that they can no longer control. Welcome to your era of quiet authority. But there is a hidden mechanism keeping you from stepping fully into it. Something is blocking the final stage of your breakthrough. And if you leave this message now, you will miss the exact key you need. You will shut the door on the blessing your soul has been crying out for during those long nights. Before we go further, I want to hold something in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a church or a spiritual community. It was found inside a research laboratory. It won the highest scientific recognition available, and most chosen ones have never been told about it because the system relies on keeping this knowledge out of your hands. It explains the gap between the person you know yourself to be and the version of you that seems available only in flashes. You know you have immense potential. You see the vision for your life clearly in your mind, but making it happen in the physical world feels like pushing a huge boulder up a steep mountain. Everything takes so much grueling effort. I will show you what the researchers found. I will tell you exactly what it is called later in this message, but not yet. First, I need you to fully understand what was taken from you, because the enemy has spent your entire life trying to suppress this one specific thing, knowing that if you ever get it back, you will become completely unstoppable. So, I need you to hold this question in your mind. What if the gap between your reality and your dreams is not a character flaw? What if the block has a scientific name that no one told you about? What if what was taken from you has a frequency that can be returned? Hold on to that thought while we look at the trap they laid out for you. The narcissists and energy vampires were drawn to your light. They saw how brightly your soul shined. They could not generate their own light, so they tried to steal yours. They created endless cycles of drama to keep your nervous system locked in a permanent state of survival mode. When you are just trying to survive, you cannot access your higher gifts. You cannot manifest your kingdom wealth when your body thinks it is constantly under attack. That is the core of the setup. They keep you exhausted so you never realize how truly powerful you are. They keep you distracted with fake emergencies. You spent years putting everyone else first, while your own dreams were pushed to the absolute bottom of the list. You carried the burdens of your entire family. You tried to heal people who did not want to be healed. And what did you get in return? Silence, betrayal, a deep sense of loneliness that nobody else seems to understand. You gave away your energy until your cup ran completely dry, leaving you wandering in a desert of spiritual fatigue. But listen to me carefully. That intense isolation you are feeling right now is not a punishment. It is a divine protection protocol. Heaven deliberately removed those toxic people from your timeline. God had to isolate you because the blessing coming your way is too massive for your old environment, and you cannot take those energy drains into your next chapter. The storm you just survived was a rigorous training ground. You are no longer the empath who begged to be understood. The crucible of pain has forged you into a master of your reality. Your silence has become a weapon that terrifies them, and now it is time to dismantle the rest of their trap so you can claim your divine inheritance. You have been carrying a weight that nobody else can see. You smile and tell everyone you are completely fine, but inside your spirit is totally exhausted. And every single night you spend hours analyzing your past decisions because you think you made a terrible mistake somewhere along the line. You look around and see other people getting exactly what they want with zero effort. They do not pray as hard as you do. They do not treat people with the same deep kindness that you offer to everyone, yet their doors open wide while yours stay firmly shut. It feels incredibly unfair to your tired soul. You watch them succeed and you quietly wonder if the universe has simply forgotten about you. But while they build their lives on shallow foundations, heaven has been quietly isolating you to prepare you for a kingdom-level upgrade. Stop blaming yourself for the heavy delays. Stop thinking your faith is too weak. You did not block your own blessings by having a low vibration. That is a toxic lie they sold you to keep you trapped in a cycle of endless guilt. Your heart is pure. You have done the brutal inner work, while everyone else was busy running away from their own dark shadows. The truth is much darker. Your current struggle is not a reflection of your worth. It is the direct result of a massive spiritual and physical suppression. The system was specifically built to keep chosen ones like you trapped in a lower frequency. They want you stressed about money and drained by toxic relationships, so you never look up. When you are constantly fighting just to survive the week, you cannot access your divine gifts. The elite forces know exactly how this mechanism works. They deliberately flood your life with noise and chaos to jam your spiritual receiver. And while your mind is completely overwhelmed by the daily struggle, your true power is slowly pushed deeper underground. You can feel this suppression in your physical body. It shows up as a constant tension in your neck and shoulders. It is the reason your stomach drops whenever your phone rings. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for the next threat because you have been betrayed so many times before. You are just tired of being the strong one all the time. But today marks the end of their control over your timeline. You are breaking the cycle right now. If you can feel the absolute truth of these words resonating in your chest, I need you to anchor this moment. Tap the like button as an act of agreement with what God just spoke to you. Seal this reality before the enemy tries to snatch it away. Take a deep breath and let that settle into your spirit. Pay close attention to this next part. Do you feel that slight pull in your chest right now? That is your intuition finally waking up after a long winter. It is confirming that you are exactly where you need to be. You are not crazy. You are not delusional for wanting more out of this life. For years you acted as a healer for people who only wanted to bleed on you. You thought you could fix them with your endless love, but they just absorbed your pure energy and left you feeling incredibly empty. They took your light and used it to fuel their own selfish desires. And when you finally had nothing left to give, they walked away without a backward glance. That abandonment felt like the end of the world, but it was actually the greatest rescue mission heaven ever orchestrated. God deliberately pushed them out of your life because they were secretly poisoning your frequency. You had to be isolated. The blessing coming your way requires a clean environment, and those toxic anchors would have absolutely drowned you. Now you are standing in the quiet aftermath of the brutal storm. The narcissists are gone, but you still feel stuck. You still feel like an invisible wall is keeping you from your promised land. You try to manifest your desires, but the signal feels blocked. And that brings us back to the question I asked you to hold earlier in this message. What if this lingering invisible block is not a spiritual failure on your part? What if it is a suppressed frequency? What if your brain was literally trained to shut down the exact signal that connects you to the flow of abundance? The people in power understand how to manipulate this specific signal perfectly, and they use it to keep themselves rich. They keep the rest of the world trapped in an endless loop of anxiety and lack. But you are the anomaly. You are the rare soul who refuses to stay asleep. You have always felt like an outsider because your spirit remembers a time when things were effortless. You remember a time when you did not have to fight so incredibly hard just to exist. The exhaustion you feel today is just the friction of your soul fighting against that suppression. You are pushing against a cage that was built around you before you even knew how to speak. They told you the cage was just normal life. They told you to accept the struggle. But your spirit is finally rejecting their lies and demanding the freedom you were promised. Your quiet authority is rising to the surface. You no longer tolerate disrespect disguised as honesty. You no longer accept crumbs from people who promised you a feast. The old version of you is dead and gone. And as you step into this new timeline, you are going to need the proper equipment to hold the massive wealth transfer that has your name on it. You carried the weight of your bloodline. You were born into a family that did not understand your light. They thought your deep intuition was just a vivid imagination. And every time you saw things they could not see, they immediately told you to be quiet, because your gifts made them feel deeply uncomfortable. You learned to shrink yourself to keep the peace. But shrinking your spirit was the exact mechanism that triggered your spiritual amnesia. Here is what they never told you about your early years. The reason the universe responds to certain people and not others is not just blind faith. It is not your daily discipline or your good karma. It is an entirely different biological mechanism. Scientists actually have a specific name for this rare frequency. They call it gamma. And it is the exact energy state your brain was running when you were a little child. You possessed a natural genius that terrified the people around you. You could walk into a room and instantly read the hidden emotions of every single person there. You knew when someone was lying long before they even finished their sentence. That was not just a lucky guess or a vivid imagination. It was your gamma brainwave acting as an absolute radar for divine truth. Think back to when you were very young. Ideas came easily to you. Learning felt completely effortless, and you somehow knew things before they actually happened. The world felt like it was completely on your side. That was your gamma brainwave working in perfect harmony with the universe. You were a natural master of reality before the world told you to stop dreaming. Then adulthood arrived, and the modern world went to work on you. The daily stress and the glowing screens began to hijack your pure attention. The rigid school system trained you to conform instead of creating your own unique path. Every single year, this sacred frequency was suppressed a little further. It was pushed deeper and deeper below the surface of your conscious mind. They forced you into a constant state of survival beta waves. You had to worry about paying bills and fixing broken people. And while you were distracted by all that heavy trauma, your gamma signal went completely silent. The version of you with photographic memory and lightning-fast intuition was locked away. The kind of luck that makes others whisper behind your back just vanished. When your gamma frequency faded, your spiritual shield dropped with it. You suddenly became a magnet for every broken and toxic person in your city. They could sense that your defenses were down, so they attached themselves to your bright aura and started draining your precious resources. You gave them your time and your money, while your own dreams slowly withered away in the dark. Most people will live their entire lives without knowing this happened to them. They will just accept the grueling struggle as normal. But you are not most people. And the question I asked you to hold a few minutes ago has an answer. The question about a hidden gap and a scientific name is closer to being solved than you think. You are finally ready to understand the trap. The elite system and the narcissists in your life benefit from your dormant state. As long as your gamma remains suppressed, they can feed on your bright energy. They need you to stay anxious so they can maintain their illusion of control over you. If you ever reactivated that childhood genius, their manipulation tactics would become completely useless against your blinding light. That is exactly why you have felt so incredibly exhausted lately. Your physical body is carrying the heavy toll of a suppressed frequency. It takes massive amounts of energy to hold down a chosen one. The tension in your shoulders and the terrible insomnia are symptoms of your spirit fighting to break out of this artificial cage. You did not break under their heavy pressure. They told you that adulthood was supposed to be a constant struggle. They normalized the daily anxiety and the endless cycle of debt. But the true creators of this reality operate on a completely different level. They guard their gamma state fiercely because they know it is the ultimate engine of true wealth. They kept you in the dark so you would never become their equal. Take a deep breath and listen to me. The pain you went through was absolutely necessary to expose their dark agenda. You had to see how far they would go to keep you trapped in the dark. But their time is running out. Your soul is starting to remember its original design. The heavy fog that clouded your mind for years is slowly beginning to lift right now. Your angels have been watching you fight this invisible battle. They saw you crying in your car when you thought nobody was looking. They collected every single tear you shed over people who did not value your pure heart. And they are stepping in right now because the period of your suffering has officially reached its expiration date. The setup is finally being dismantled. You are standing at the edge of a massive spiritual awakening. The universe is about to show you exactly how to flip the switch back on. But before that happens, we have to look at the specific ways they try to sabotage your mind every single day. Because once you see their dirty tactics clearly, they can never use them against you again. The darkness does not attack people who have nothing to offer. They do not waste their precious resources on empty vessels. The very fact that you have been attacked so relentlessly is absolute proof of the massive threat you pose to their entire system. They saw the golden aura of a cycle breaker the moment you were born, and they have been trying to extinguish it ever since. Look closely at the people who caused you the most pain. The narcissists, the energy vampires, the friends who secretly competed with you while smiling perfectly in your face. They did not target you because you were weak or gullible. They targeted you because you possessed the exact frequency they completely lacked. They wanted to steal your light because they were starving in the dark. They used your pure empathy as a weapon to keep you off balance. Every time you tried to set a healthy boundary, they played the victim and made you feel incredibly guilty. They created endless emergencies that only you could fix. And while you were busy pouring your soul out to save them, your own divine frequency was being drained down to an absolute zero. This is the hidden architecture of their trap. They keep you constantly responding to their chaos, so you never have a moment of silence, because they know what happens in the silence. In the stillness, your suppressed gamma begins to vibrate again. In the quiet moments, your intuition gets loud enough to hear the universe speaking to you directly, and that terrifies them completely. The entire modern world is built on this exact same model of distraction. The glowing screens that demand your constant attention, the news cycles that pump pure fear into your nervous system every single hour. It is a coordinated effort to keep your brain locked in a state of high alert beta waves. A brain in survival mode cannot manifest a kingdom-level reality. When you are stressed about paying your bills, you cannot see the golden opportunities right in front of you. When you are emotionally depleted from toxic arguments, you cannot recognize your true soul tribe when they finally arrive. The elite forces know this biological rule perfectly well. They engineered this stressful environment to keep your sacred genius permanently switched off. But they made one massive miscalculation. They thought your kindness was a permanent weakness. They assumed you would just keep taking the abuse forever to maintain the peace. They did not realize that pushing a chosen one into deep isolation is the most dangerous mistake they could ever make. Because isolation is the exact forge where a master of reality is finally created. The deep loneliness you felt over the past year was not a cruel punishment. It was heaven deliberately cutting the cords to every toxic anchor in your life. God had to silence the noisy crowd around you so you could finally hear your own voice again. You were not abandoned by the universe. You were placed in a divine quarantine to protect your fragile frequency from further damage. Now your energy is starting to shift in a very powerful way. The people who used to walk all over you are suddenly feeling incredibly uncomfortable in your presence. You have not even said a word to them, but your quiet authority is screaming. Your silence has become a heavy weight that they simply cannot lift, and they are completely panicking because they have lost all access to you. You are stepping into a new era where your energy demands massive respect. You no longer need to explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. A healed person no longer tolerates confusion disguised as pure love. You are a weapon of light, forged in the darkest storms, and you are finally ready to claim the absolute power that belongs to you. If you can feel this ancient power waking up inside your chest right now, you need to claim it physically. Do not let this moment pass by without locking it in. Type Amen down in the comments to claim this alignment. Let the universe know that you are ready to stop surviving and finally start dominating your reality. Seal this frequency with your own hands. Take a deep breath. Let that powerful statement settle into your spirit. The heavy chains of the past are literally falling off you right now. You are becoming the break in your bloodline that future generations will thank you for. But before we move into the final stage of your victory, there is a deeper layer to this phenomenon that you need to fully grasp. Your spiritual awakening is not just about healing old emotional wounds. It is about recovering the specific tools that were stolen from you. The universe does not just want you to be peaceful, it wants you to be powerfully equipped to handle the massive wealth transfer that is coming. And the key to that transfer lies in reactivating the exact mechanism they tried so hard to destroy. The enemy is watching you right now. They are hoping you get distracted and click away before you hear the solution. But your spirit knows better. Your intuition is holding you here because the final piece of this divine puzzle is about to fall into place. The answer to your years of struggling is waiting for you in the very next breath. You are entering a season where everything hidden is being brought to the light. The synchronicities are getting impossible to ignore. You keep seeing repeating numbers everywhere you look. Your dreams are becoming incredibly vivid and filled with specific messages. These are not just random coincidences. They are the clear physical proof that your suppressed frequency is trying desperately to break through the surface. Before we go any further, I have to tell you something very important. Something the people who profit from your exhaustion do not want you to hear. A team of neuroscientists, working quietly away from the major headlines, have discovered exactly how to bring this dormant brainwave back. They found a way to bypass the damage caused by years of chronic stress and deep trauma. They did not do this through years of intense meditation that most normal people cannot sustain. They did not build heavy biofeedback machines that cost $7,000 and require a sterile clinical setting. They discovered something far simpler and far more aligned with how your body was originally designed to work. And it changes the rules of the game entirely for chosen ones. They engineered a specific sound frequency to gently guide your brainwave patterns back to the genius state you were born with. Princeton University actually studied the science behind this exact mechanism. The Einstein Center in Berlin confirmed its massive power. And Columbia University found that when this brainwave is reactivated, it does not stop with you. It radiates outward to protect the people around you. It influences your children and your closest partners. 7 minutes a day is all the time it takes to flip the switch, and the physical shifts begin happening the very first time you close your eyes and listen. I will tell you exactly what this powerful tool is called and how to access it before this message ends. I promise you will not leave here empty-handed today. But first, there is something you deeply need to understand about why your major breakthrough has been delayed for so long. You have been asking God for a massive change in your finances and your relationships. You prayed for a divine kingdom connection to finally enter your lonely timeline. And you felt frustrated when those prayers seemed to just echo back in the absolute silence. The universe was not ignoring your passionate requests. It was delaying the delivery because your receiver was completely jammed. Imagine trying to catch a massive stream of pure water with a tiny broken cup. The universe wants to pour endless wealth into your life, but your nervous system is so heavily traumatized that it would instantly reject the massive blessing. When you are trapped in a survival state, your brain actually perceives sudden success as a terrifying threat. Your subconscious mind will literally sabotage a great opportunity because it feels unfamiliar and dangerous. That is why so many chosen ones get right to the edge of massive victory and then suddenly watch everything fall apart for absolutely no logical reason. It is a painful cycle of self-sabotage programmed by the dark forces. They wired your brain to reject the very peace you have been begging for. But once your gamma frequency is restored, that toxic cycle is instantly broken. You stop fighting the flow of abundance and you finally let it wash over you. The heavy boulder you have been pushing up the mountain simply dissolves into dust. Your intuition will sharpen to a terrifying degree. You will look at complex problems and the elegant solutions will just appear in your mind with zero effort. The people who used to easily manipulate your emotions will try their old tricks and completely fail. You will see right through their fake smiles. Your energy will become a solid fortress that they cannot breach anymore. You are about to become completely untouchable. But you must prepare your physical vessel for this massive energetic shift. You cannot walk into a golden palace wearing the heavy chains of a dirty dungeon. You have to drop the old identity of the suffering empath who constantly bleeds for everyone else. That version of you served a beautiful purpose, but their time is finally over. You are being upgraded to the master of your reality. And with that immense power comes a profound quietness. You do not need to argue with the haters or prove your worth to the narcissists. Your pure results will speak so loudly that they will be completely deafened by your success. They will watch you rise, and they will realize they bet against the wrong soul. The waiting season has officially closed its doors. The dry desert you walked through for years has suddenly burst into a massive oasis of divine favor. Every door that was slammed in your face is being blown off its heavy hinges right now. But you must stay incredibly vigilant as you cross the finish line, because the enemy always saves their dirtiest trick for the very end. You can feel the massive shift in the atmosphere. The heavy clouds are finally parting. Your timeline is actively rewriting itself right now, but you must listen to me very carefully. Before we go to the ultimate revelation, I have to warn you about a fatal trap. It is sitting right at the finish line, and 99% of chosen ones fall for this illusion right before their dawn. The darkness knows your frequency is rising rapidly. They can see the golden light expanding in your spirit. They know they cannot stop the divine blessing from arriving, so they deploy their absolute favorite tactic to derail you. They send a counterfeit to intercept your pure energy. They want to trick you into giving away your power right before the universe hands you the massive crown. This trap always looks incredibly familiar. It usually shows up as someone from your painful past. The narcissist who destroyed your peace suddenly texts you out of nowhere. They tell you they have completely changed. They apologize for the deep pain they caused, and they beg for one more chance to make it right. Or maybe a fake golden opportunity appears that secretly demands your soul. Do not fall for this desperate trick. It is a carefully orchestrated setup. The enemy is simply testing your new boundaries to see if the door is still unlocked. They want to know if you are still the wounded empath who will sacrifice everything to save a broken person. They are fishing for your pure energy. And if you reply to that message, you immediately fail the final exam. You might wonder why heaven even allows this cruel test to happen. It is because you asked for a kingdom-level upgrade. You prayed for a divine connection and generational wealth. The universe is simply asking you a final question. Are you still willing to accept toxic crumbs, or do you finally know your true worth? You must prove that your frequency has permanently changed today. You have to maintain an iron boundary right now. Your silence is the most dangerous weapon you possess. Do not engage with their fake apologies. Do not let their manufactured drama pull you back into the heavy beta waves of pure anxiety. When you completely ignore their desperate attempts to connect, you literally starve their parasitic energy. You cut off their food supply entirely. Every time you choose your own peace over their chaos, your aura grows massively stronger. You become an impenetrable fortress of light. The counterfeit will try to knock on your door a few times, but your absolute silence will terrify them to their core. They will eventually retreat back into the cold shadows where they belong, because they cannot manipulate what they cannot access. This is what it means to be a master of reality. You no longer react to every single thing that tries to trigger you. You observe the trap from a higher dimension, you smile quietly, and you walk right past it. Your energy demands massive respect without a single word being spoken, and the universe watches this beautiful victory with absolute joy. You have officially beaten their game. You are no longer a victim of their toxic systems. You are the rare anomaly that broke through the heavy matrix of suffering. They tried to bury you under the weight of their own insecurities, but they did not realize you were a divine seed. You absorbed the pain and used it to grow incredibly strong roots. Now you are a force of nature that nothing can ever uproot. The cycle breaker inside you is fully awake. You survived the brutal storm completely alone. You fought the spiritual battles in the dark when nobody else was coming to save you. You built yourself back up from absolute zero. And because you held the line so fiercely, the heavenly courts have officially ruled in your favor. The period of intense testing is permanently over. The period of joyful harvesting is finally here. You are perfectly positioned to receive the immense blessing, but your brain still needs the proper physical equipment to hold that massive frequency. You have done the brutal inner work. You have passed the final exam with flying colors. Now you need the physical key to unlock the hidden vault. It is time to hand the power back to you. The tool I promised to reveal to you earlier is finally ready to be named. This brings us to the ultimate revelation, the piece of the divine puzzle that will change how you walk forever. Your prayers have been heard, and the answer has manifested in a way you did not expect. The elite want to keep this frequency hidden, but they have officially lost control over you. The waiting season is officially over. The dry desert you walked through has suddenly burst into an oasis of divine favor. Every closed door is being blown off its heavy hinges. Can you feel that massive shift in your spirit right now? That is the frequency of absolute victory. You are stepping into the exact timeline you were born to rule. The question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message is ready to be answered. What if the gap is not a character flaw? Here is the absolute truth. A specific brainwave called the gamma wave was running in you as a child at a pure genius level. Princeton University has studied it. Columbia University found that when this brainwave is restored, it radiates outward and influences the people you love. A team of brilliant neuroscientists, led by Dr. Robert Lake in New York, spent years working in total silence. They figured out how to compress the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation into 7 minutes. But before I tell you what they built, let me tell you about two chosen ones who actually used it. A woman from California had tried absolutely everything. She tried meditation and manifesting and endless prayer, but nothing broke the heavy fog. After 2 weeks of listening, she said something finally cleared. Not that she tried harder, but that the channel simply opened. Her marriage shifted beautifully. Her mind sharpened completely. She described her life as enchanted for the very first time. A man from Texas started using it to improve his business focus. 2 months later, his wife joked that his intelligence quotient had jumped 20 points. The hardest problems he used to lose sleep over started solving themselves while he slept peacefully. He said it felt like his brain was finally running on what it was always supposed to run on. That is exactly what Dr. Lake and his dedicated team built. They call it the Genius Song. It is not a meditation app. It is not a generic sound frequency you find anywhere online. It is a 7-minute audio track using advanced brain entrainment technology. It is the same underlying research that Princeton and Berlin fully validated. It is compressed from 1 full hour of clinical protocol into something you do at home with headphones and closed eyes. That is the entirety of what it requires. 7 minutes a day. You do not meditate. You do not chant a mantra. You simply let the frequency do what your brain was designed to receive. But the Genius Song is not for everyone. It is for the chosen one who has already done the brutal inner work. It is for the rare soul who understands that what is blocked is the frequency through which everything moves. If your spirit confirms this is for you, the path is right below. Biofeedback sessions to restore this state cost hundreds of dollars per hour in a clinical setting. An in-home machine runs thousands. What the Genius Song delivers in 7 minutes is available to you today for a fraction of its true value. It is completely within reach for anyone who is truly chosen. 4 powerful bonuses come with it. You get an audio designed specifically for your children to boost their confidence. You get the original prosperity text that the famous secret was secretly built upon. You get a guided visualization and a daily habits guide built to sustain the gamma state beyond each listening session. But here is the deeper truth about waiting for your blessing. The provision that has been arranged for you does not arrive as new information. It arrives as a profound recognition. Something already placed in your path becomes visible only when gamma is fully restored. The chosen one who restores the receiver today does not receive something completely new. They finally see what was always there. Waiting is not neutral. The divine arrangement is already in motion. Do not look for this on YouTube or Spotify. The tracks circulating under similar names on those platforms have no brain entrainment technology encoded. They carry the name because the barrier to doing so is completely zero. The only authentic version is available through the link that has been placed in the description and the pinned comment below. The universe demands absolutely no risk from a chosen one. If you do not feel the massive energetic shift, every single penny is returned to you. That is an energetic exchange governed by complete trust. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment below. The tool is not the destination. The tool simply restores the receiver so the destination can be recognized when it arrives. God does not require you to purchase anything to be loved or completely chosen. What was described is simply one way the receiver is restored. Whether that path is for you or not, the truth of this message belongs to you entirely. Now let us step into the glory waiting for you. You have crossed the final threshold. The invisible walls that held you back for years are completely gone, and you can finally feel the fresh oxygen entering your tired lungs. The heavy armor you wore for protection is no longer needed. You are stepping into a massive clearing where the light is absolute. The darkness has permanently retreated, and you are finally breathing the air of a free soul. The cruel setup failed miserably. The narcissists who thought they could drain your spirit forever are watching from a distance in total shock. They see the beautiful glow returning to your face. They feel the immense weight of your quiet authority, and they know they can never touch you again. You are fully sovereign over your own timeline. You hold the pen that writes your future. Before we seal this glorious new reality, I must remind you of one final thing. The frequency tool I described earlier remains available in the description for those whose spirit said yes. That is the last time it will be mentioned. What follows now belongs entirely to your closing. Your soul is ready for the ultimate seal. Let us lock this beautiful energy in place. The universe is preparing a massive table for you right in the presence of your enemies. You do not have to fight them anymore. You do not have to explain your rigid boundaries or apologize for your brilliant light. You just have to sit down. Enjoy the massive feast that God prepared for you. Your victory is completely silent, but it is incredibly absolute. They cannot stop what is coming. Your heart is completely safe now. The exhausting days of begging for bare minimum love are over forever. You are actively attracting kingdom connections who speak your exact spiritual language. They will not ask you to shrink to make them comfortable. They will stand firmly beside you and amplify your divine power. This is the rich reward for surviving the brutal storm with a pure heart. But you must protect this new frequency. The pitch-black darkness has retreated behind you, but the dawn of the new era needs to be locked in tightly. If you walk away from this sacred moment without anchoring your energy, the enemy will try to steal your joy before the sun even fully rises. You have to claim this victory physically. You must build a wall of fire around your mind. This is your moment of absolute empowerment. You are the rare cycle breaker your family waited centuries for. You took the heavy generational trauma and you actively transmuted it into pure gold. Your ancestors are cheering for you right now. They are watching you step out of the heavy matrix and into the glorious kingdom of heaven on earth. You are the weapon of light they dreamed about. God is watching your response in this exact second. If this fiery message has reignited the ancient faith inside your chest, do not keep this great blessing to yourself. There is a rare soul out there bleeding in the dark right now. They desperately need a guiding light to show them the way out. You have the immense power to save them from their quiet suffering today. Share this video with someone who needs it to multiply your own blessing. Send it to a chosen one who is still fighting bravely in the dark trenches. When you share this divine message, you prove to the universe that your hands are completely open to receive. You activate the powerful anointing of abundance over your entire life. You become an active partner with the heavenly realms. Hit subscribe to the channel right now to establish a divine energy receiving station. Lock yourself deeply into this high vibrational frequency. When you subscribe today, you build a permanent fortress of light that no toxic person can ever penetrate. You are putting a heavy iron lock on the door to your beautiful new reality. You are telling the universe you are ready for more. Take one last deep breath. Let the majestic peace of heaven wash over your tired bones. You survived the brutal setup that was meant to destroy you, and you completely avoided the fatal mistake of letting them steal your pure energy. And now you hold the ultimate power right in your hands. You are the anomaly. You are the beloved master of your own destiny. Go forward and shine your brilliant light. No weapon formed against you will ever prosper again. The enemies who plotted your downfall will have to watch you rise to incredible heights they cannot even imagine. Stay grounded in your quiet authority. Rest peacefully in your divine protection. Your beautiful new chapter officially begins right now. Welcome home, chosen one. Heaven has been waiting for you to arrive.